views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready to experience the truth. Welcome to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Truth Talk Radio is a hit show that will illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. Unleash your intuitive nature while Deb helps you stop looking outside yourself for value and happiness, break through patterns, and move into your authentic truth at lightning speed. Truth Talk Radio will leave you feeling lighter, help you live with more presence, passion, and clarity, and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Now here's your host, Deb Acker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deb Acker, and you are listening to Truth Talk on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour as I help you experience the truth, nothing but the truth. Each week on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll have some of the most gifted, inspiring, and unique souls, speakers, and authors helping to move you into more light, love, and, of course, truth. And with that, I'd like to welcome today's guest, Diane Altomare. Diane is the author of Clarity, 10 Proven Strategies to Transform Your Life, which we will be talking about today, and as well as an integrative life coach and keynote speaker at lectures and events around the country. She's been featured on syndicated radio shows, including iHeartRadio, and contributes to Finer Minds, an online resource of personal wellness information and enlightened ideas. Diane received her certification as a master-level coach from the Ford Institute of Integrative Coaching, founded by Debbie Ford. She divides her time between sunny Southern California and rainy Seattle, which she describes as the best of both worlds. And for me, while I personally haven't met Diane, in reading through her book and seeing the work she does, I definitely felt a connection to her, as we both have a common goal to truly impact the world. And with that, I'd like to welcome Diane to the show. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, Deb. Thank you so much. It's so great to be on your show. I'm doing fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here today. So excited to be having this conversation. To get started, though, can you tell us about your story and how you got on this path?
Yes, my journey started many years ago as I experienced a lot of uncertainty and very heightened emotions growing up in an alcoholic home. And being very sensitive, as I am by nature, was difficult because I felt so much of what was going on under the surface. And I felt at a deep level at a very young age that something just wasn't right. And things weren't being talked about, and it was really confusing. And there was this unwritten rule that there were certain things you didn't say or talk about. And I know now from coaching many people from different backgrounds that even if you didn't grow up in an alcoholic home, you may have grown up with a distant or an absent parent or some other difficulty in your childhood, and you can relate to not having the support you needed to really work through what was happening or to know what to do. And so one of the gifts that I uncovered in growing up in an alcoholic home was that I became very intuitive. I became very, very observant of people in my surroundings because it was literally the way that I created certainty in a really uncertain situation. And I became this relentless seeker of healing and just fascinated by the inner workings of myself and other people, and then how to move beyond difficulties, because there are so many of us that have experienced many difficult things in our life, and some people can move beyond that and some can't. And so my intuitive nature, coupled really with my compassionate understanding of what it's like to experience that deep dysfunction, was the perfect combination to help other people heal. And so 16 years ago, I became a master certified coach and have been helping people move through their stuff ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I want to actually ask you, since you're bringing up codependency and having an alcoholic parent. Have you ever read the book Facing Codependency by Pia Mellody?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That book, I think, is like so, and I just want to bring this to light for my listeners. But I think that book is so, like, if anyone's ever been, for anyone out there that's ever had a parent with an addiction, right? So it could be a more common addiction like alcoholism. It could be something a little less common like love or sex addiction. But if for anyone out there that's ever had that and has kind of felt a little like, I don't know if you felt this when you were growing up and going through this, but kind of felt a little bit out of sorts. Facing Codependency is one of those books that will bring to light why you do some of the things that you do, why you might not feel like yourself, why you might feel sort of a level of craziness. And that really, I want to ask you about in terms of like when you were growing up and around sort of that energy, what was your experience with sort of taking on your parents' emotions around this?
Well, what's interesting is, different people experience different things. And so I, in particular, like I shared earlier, am very sensitive. And so I could feel even things that weren't being emotionally expressed. There was just a lot of stuff going on underneath the surface, a lot of angst or anxiety or frustration. And the way that I really dealt with that was I was very angry. I was a very angry child a lot of the time. And you wouldn't have known if you saw me and met me and experienced me in school or in different things, because I was very successful and I did well, but it was something that I covered up very well. And that really is the other thing that I like to bring to light, not only for people in alcoholic homes, but just in any experience where you are covering up what's going on within you. There is so much conflict with us in doing that, because it really takes so much energy to not be able to live our truth and to express how it is we're feeling. And that's why this book is so powerful, is because it brings to light whatever it is that you're feeling is perfect. It doesn't matter whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're frustrated, whether you feel depressed. You don't have to explain why you feel the way you feel. The most important thing is to really honor those feelings and learn how to move through them, learn how to embrace them, learn how to express them, learn how to get them out of your body so that they don't limit you and keep you from being who you truly are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm all about really releasing emotions. I think that that's a crucial piece to really living in the present moment and to really being and living from a space of truth. What would you say to listeners when you're talking about this whole, everything happening perfectly and, sort of coming from that place? What would you say to listeners that maybe aren't in that space right now and really moving? Obviously you're talking about really feeling and releasing your emotions, but what would you say, what would be your recommendations to somebody who is, who sort of can't get there, isn't there yet with what's the events that have happened in their life?
Well, part of what you can begin to do is just reconnect with yourself. And that can happen in very simple ways, because one of the simple processes of reconnecting with ourselves is just closing our eyes and allowing ourselves to get in touch with how we feel. And sometimes we don't know how we feel exactly. We don't know what the word is, but we might know what the thought that's going on in our mind is. And so the way that I help people really get connected to what's going on within them is I share a technique where you can give your emotion a voice. So, we all know that feeling in our head that says, or that thought in our head that says, I can't take this anymore. This isn't fair. I'm not good enough. I can't go on like this. Something has to change. And by really identifying the voice of the emotion, we can start to get more connected to ourselves. And it really is about connection to self, because once we connect with ourselves and what's going on within us, and we really honor who we are and don't judge that experience, we start to get more insight and more information as to why we feel the way we feel or why something in our life isn't working. And it is almost always related to something that happened in the past.
Well, and I want to ask you more about that when we come back from break. You are listening to Truth Talk, and I am your host, Deb Acker. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to explore more with Diane. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Attitude? Keys to the rescue. Adjust your attitude with Keys Clear Protein Waters. So refreshing. Just a few sips of Keys will give you a whole new outlook, thanks to 22 grams of the happiest protein on earth. Tongue-tingling tasty without the guilt of naughty or nasty ingredients. If that doesn't put a smile on your face, maybe you need to drink too. Put a little woohoo in your attitude with Keys Protein Water. On Amazon or at Keys, Kees, please.com.
Called the Oprah of radio by her listeners. Award-winning host Dr. Pat Baccili is blowing the doors off of traditional talk radio. Get ready for an energizing delivery and powerful interviews with leaders in the field of human potential. Dr. Pat's fresh, new perspective on living life full out has catapulted her show to the top of talk radio. Tune in and Dr. Pat will help you thrive instead of merely survive. Visit thedrpatshow.com. That's THEDRPatShow.com for listening times in your area.
Are you ready for a radical shift in your way of being? Are you seeking a more deeply connected and fulfilling life? Awakened Living Radio is a show dedicated to helping you embrace a life filled with profound peace, connection, and happiness. TJ Woodward is passionate about helping you find your clarity, balance, and purpose. Join co-host TJ Woodward and Dr. Pat Baccili on the first Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific Time for Awakened Living Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
The doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative
What
topics.
are vibes? We often use this word, but did you know vibes can actually be useful and help solve our everyday challenges? Embark on an exciting learning journey with Caitlin Keat, 11-time Visionary Award winner, specialist in vibrational energy, and the creator of Vibes Up. Join Caitlin as she takes you through the world of vibrational therapy and energy healing with natural solutions for a modern world. Visit vibesup.com to learn more today.
1230 WBLQ.
back on Truth Talk, and I am your host, Deb Acker. My guest today is Diane Altomare, and we are talking about basically how everything is happening perfectly, if we can actually just see it that way. But before we continue, Diane, I want to ensure everyone has your contact info and tell us also about your book. So can you give this to our listeners, please?
Yeah, so the book is called Clarity, and it's 10 proven strategies to transform your life. And you can actually download Chapter 1 of Clarity on my website, which is DianeAltomare.com, and that's Diane with one N, and then Alto, which is A-L-T-O, and Mare, M-A-R-E. And if you go there, like I mentioned, you can download Chapter 1.
Awesome. So I want to ask you, actually, can you talk about, you've got, you wrote your book, Clarity. Can you give us kind of just a brief abbreviation of the 10 proven strategies in your book?
Yes. So what we look at in Clarity really initially is reconnecting with yourself. And I talked a little bit about that in the segment before. And that really is the key to everything. And then once you can get reconnected, what we do in the step 2 of Clarity is I help you to understand what's really going on, because a lot of times we are upset about something that's going on in our life, but we don't know actually how to deal with the inner workings of what is happening, and so we are trying to fix the problem from the outside. And the third step in Clarity is really embracing that inner child. So connecting with that little girl or boy who may still be running the show because of what has happened in the past and how they're being triggered. And then we talk about triggers and how to move through that, how that still may be showing up in your relationships, in your adult relationships. And then one of the things that I share halfway through the book is the default emotion, and this is really a powerful tool because most of us have an emotion that we go to often, even if it doesn't fit the situation, and even if it's an inappropriate response to what's happening. So our default emotion, like frustration or sadness or anger, for example, is really covering up some deeper emotion that we don't know how to deal with. And it is always that emotion underneath that is going to give us the insight that we need to understand what's truly going on. So, for example, if frustration is your default emotion, what may be underneath is a feeling of inadequacy or feeling like you're not good enough. And instead of really connecting with what is actually happening, you just get frustrated easily, and then you may quit things or you may give less energy to that. And once we can get to the true emotion that's present and move through that emotion, healing can begin, and then we can create something different. So I give also in Clarity the different voices of our emotions. I talked about that in the earlier segment on really connecting with what is the voice of that emotion. So if you're feeling frustrated, maybe the voice of your frustration is, I can't do this, it's never going to work out, this is too hard. And then I share with you how to get really connected to moving beyond that and forgiving whatever pain may be present from the past, as well as discarding limiting beliefs and winning the battle of faith versus fear. That is one of the things that most of us as human beings grapple with. Sometimes we're truly connected to the part of us that knows exactly who we are and that we can accomplish anything that we desire. And then this part of us that's afraid comes in and tries to squelch that voice that we have, or tries to keep us from moving forward. And so I talk about really how to move through all these different parts of ourselves, this part of us that's really connected to who we are, and then the part that is afraid of really stepping into our greatness. And I finish out Clarity with connecting with the power of our emotions. So I talk about transference in the book, which is originally described by psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud. And transference is really the experience of transferring something unresolved from an earlier time in our life into our current experience. And we do that all the time in different ways, but we can actually use it in a positive way. And so I share how we can use some of the difficulties of our past and unleash the power of those emotions to truly create what it is that we want.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I want to kind of delve into some of those areas that you mentioned, really starting with, I know in the book you talk about, like, it can feel like we're always chasing the next thing, and it's obviously a super common pattern. What do you think this ever elusive thing is that we are missing, and how do we really stop that chasing mentality?
Well, it's different for everybody. It is definitely an individual answer is, what we're chasing. Because if we grew up in a situation that was difficult and we have this part of us that doesn't feel good enough, what we're always chasing is the covering up of that not good enough self, and we're trying to prove that we are good enough. So we're trying to achieve things and succeed and show everybody that we can do it and that we have everything it takes. It really depends on what your specific experience has been in life. And, part of really how we can find peace with where we are in our life right now, even if we haven't achieved everything that we want to achieve, is to connect with who we already are and what we've already accomplished, and to really allow ourselves to be present to that and to be in a space of completeness with the incompleteness. Because there really always is that next evolution of who we are, and that's not a bad thing. That can really be driven from a part of us that just wants to continually improve and evolve. And then it can also come from a part of us that is more wounded, that really wants to cover up feeling bad about who we are by trying to achieve things in the outer world.
Well, and you're talking about sort of like our successes and how we really look at those. You had put out around success and how that can create depression. How so? I was like curious around that. How so? And I know you talk about your success process, so I'd love to hear about that as well.
Yeah, so success sometimes can make us feel depressed very simply because success doesn't make us feel good about who we are. It may be a validation that we're talented in certain ways. But if there are deep-rooted issues going on within us that have us feeling bad about who we are, or not feeling good enough, or feeling ashamed for something that occurred in our past, simply being successful isn't going to make that go away. And a lot of times we're under the illusion that success will make us feel better, and we're waiting for it to fix us, and that can really be our driving force. And then when actually we achieve that success that we thought was going to help us feel better and it doesn't, it can leave us feeling hopeless. Like, what I was waiting for is not making me feel better. And we see this sometimes in stories of celebrities who have everything going for them, and they've achieved an amazing level of success and are still depressed, or they commit suicide, or they're acting out their issues in other ways because of something they're grappling with internally. And the truth is that if you are unhappy or you're not at peace with something that's going on within you, either from the past or in your current circumstances, you want to identify the root of what is happening so you can heal yourself from the inside out, instead of striving for success, because that can't ever cover up how it is that we truly feel.
Okay, awesome. So I want to continue this conversation, but we need to take a quick break here. So when we get back, we're going to explore more with Diane. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Pat. Have you ever tried maca? Well, maca is a root vegetable that grows at altitudes above 13,000 feet in the Andes Mountains. As a family-run company of true maca specialists, the maca team's mission is to provide you with fresh, organic, premium quality maca products at a fair price. And they are delicious. One of the most common questions they get is from men and women who want to know more about using maca for fertility. Maca works on the endocrine system to balance hormones in both men and women. Scientific studies have found that using black maca boosts sperm count in men, and women given maca respond with increased regularity in cycles and easier ovulation. Wow. To learn more and read stories from couples who have reported success with maca, visit themacateam.com and check out the black maca. That's themacateam.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you are ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
We're back on Truth Talk, and for those just tuning in, I'm here talking with Diane Altomare about really how important our emotions are, and really how we make peace with ourselves. And so I want to ask you, speaking of our emotions, really. How can we identify if something is a trigger or if it's our intuition, right? How do we really differentiate between the two of those?
That is a great question. And it can be sometimes a little tricky. But what I've experienced, and again, this is such an individual experience, is intuition to me just feels soft, and sometimes it's a whisper, and it just feels like something that is right, that you're connected with, and that resonates with you. Whereas when we're triggered, our emotion is heightened in some way. So being triggered by something means that we're affected in some way, and usually we're negatively affected. So most of the time we are really being triggered by, say, a relationship, for example, and something is happening that is making us feel a certain way about ourselves that we don't like, or that reminds us of something from the past. And so when you differentiate between the two of them, a trigger is just something that you really don't feel good about. You don't feel like you're at peace and that it resonates with you. It's something unresolved.
So you're mentioning this trigger and it being unresolved, and I know you've touched on this, but I want to kind of go a little bit deeper. How do we begin to resolve that trigger so that it no longer triggers us?
We really have to get connected to, first of all, what's happening. Why is that specific experience triggering you? So by getting connected to yourself and really spending that time, and I share in Clarity different exercises and different ways that you can connect with yourself and understand why you're being affected by your relationship in that way. And then once you can understand that, there are different ways to move through that experience. And one of them is really having compassion for yourself. When you understand why you are being triggered in a relationship and what specifically is happening and how that's related to something that you experienced in the past, it's easier to have more compassion for that little girl or that little boy within you, and to really then take care of yourself so that when in the future you may be triggered again, you will know that there's something that you can do to really move through that more quickly and not be so affected by it.
Well, and I want to, you're talking about triggers, and I want to ask you, you had mentioned about really with our emotions and everything and energy, right? And I want to ask you about how we can manage. So I always feel like with our energy, it's like, our energy is on the inside, and a lot of us aren't super aware of really the power that being aware of our energy and how we can shift energy, how much power that can have, and how that can really, truly impact us and impact our outer world. What are your recommendations for managing our energy, and why do you think that this is so important?
Managing our energy is everything, because energy really is all that we have. And when we can really connect with what it is that we are spending our energy on a daily basis, we can look at the places where it might not be aligned with what we want to create. So mismanaging our energy or using it in a way that doesn't serve our highest purpose and goals is really what we want to be looking out for. We want to make sure that we're simply just not giving away our energy to a relationship that is not working, because what has to happen, for example, there is you might need to do some inner work in order to really move through what you're experiencing instead of playing it out in the relationship. So managing our energy means that when we have an issue, when we have something that happens that is continuing again and again or is stressing us or upsetting us, managing our energy means that we take the time that we need to take to resolve what's happening so that we can move on from a clear space. So instead of allowing that issue that's going on within us to weave its way into every part of our day, we really take the time to resolve and understand what is happening so that we can clean our energy, and move on from a clear space. And that really is the process of, again, like we've been talking about, being so connected to yourself that you know the different things that affect you and why they affect you. And you get so intimately connected with your stuff that when it triggers you or affects you, that you've learned through the different processes what exactly you can do to move through that, because then you can bring all the amazing energy, whether it's your passion or your excitement or your joy or love, whatever it is that you want to bring into the actions that you're taking that day.
Beautiful. Well, and I want to switch gears, and actually there was a question that came up that I really want to ask you about, because I'm kind of curious to hear what sort of what your thoughts are on this. You were talking about how this belief around positive affirmations, how they can create failure. I know especially a lot of people are very familiar with positive affirmations in the personal growth world. And I'm kind of, curious to hear, how do you believe that that's so? How do they create failure?
Sometimes they do, because when we affirm for ourselves that something is true, and here's the distinction, when we feel like it isn't. So when we affirm that something's true, when we feel that it's not true, we create inner conflict. And most of us have had that experience where we say an affirmation, I'm abundantly wealthy, I'm powerful, I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that. And then immediately there's a voice in our head that snaps back with, no, you're not. That's not true. Mm-hmm. And so we can't affirm for ourselves something that internally we don't believe is possible. And when we continually do that, and we have a belief in place that's the opposite of that, it can make us feel bad because we're not there yet. And we can't create what we want, or we haven't yet created what it is that we're affirming. And we then lose faith in the affirmation process because for most of us, it just hasn't worked. So the only way that positive affirmations can help us is if we have the belief in place that is aligned with that possibility. So the most important thing that you can do is to identify if your beliefs are congruent with the affirmation you're saying. And if they aren't, then there's simply inner work to be done to clear out those outdated beliefs so that you can replace them with something that is aligned with what you want to create.
Well, and I want to just to clarify this for any audience that might kind of be new to really looking on the inside, right, and what that really looks like. Can you walk us through one example of what that would look like with someone?
Right. So let's say you want to create more abundance in your life. So instead of just saying the affirmation, I'm abundantly wealthy, I'm abundantly wealthy, I'm abundantly wealthy, what you want to do is you want to allow yourself to identify first where you have already created abundance in your life, what you already have abundance with, so that you can connect with something that's actually true for you. So maybe for you, you're abundant with love. Or maybe you could say, I'm abundant with the financial resources to buy amazing clothes for my children. Maybe you haven't yet bought your dream house, but you have abundance in your life that you can affirm. So what you want to do is you want to affirm something for yourself that is true, and then continually breathe into that abundance as you see it throughout your day. So even simple things that when you go to pay for something, taking a deep breath and just internally affirming for yourself, I am grateful for the abundance to pay for this. Just doing that when we pay for something or when we receive money, affirming our abundance. Because here's what's really important about doing it that way. What we focus on expands. And if we are continually in the state of connecting with how abundant we already are and how much abundance we have already created, what we focus on expands, and we create more of that abundance. And then we can take more actions that are aligned with creating that next level of abundance, because the energy will expand and it gives us more of that good feeling of being abundant, and then we can take it to that next level.
Yeah, the energy definitely starts to shift. So before we take our final break, can you give the listeners your contact info one more time?
Yes, so you can email me directly at DI, which is the first two letters of my name, Diane, DI@DianeAltomare.com, or you can visit me on my website at DianeAltomare.com, which is Diane with one N, Alto, A-L-T-O, Mar, M-A-R-E. And if you go to DianeAltomare.com, you can download Chapter 1 of Clarity and start reading it right away.
Awesome. This is Deb Acker with Truth Talk. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we return, I'm going to share my tidbits of truth, and we'll finish with a vibration activation. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You see, this guy's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love. Who looks at you the way I do when you smile?
What if we really didn't have to die to go to heaven? Are you curious about the afterlife or rebirth? The highly anticipated new book from author Dr. Susan Allison, You Don't Have to Die to Go to Heaven, is available now. Find out how to find guidance and healing in the spirit realms. Order the book today and put it on your must-read list for 2016. Visit drsusanallison.com to learn more.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this. We have so much to share. Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
1230 WBLQ.
Hello and welcome back to Truth Talk Radio. I am your host, Deb Acker. In today's final segment in our Tidbits of Truth, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, I want to talk to you, in my segment with Diane, we had talked about, these triggers, right? And really taking how old emotions can take us away from the present. And so, first of all, just to really shed light and really clarify just the processes that I use to really help people to shift those emotions, right? And one of the biggest things is just really recognizing, and from the work I've done with numerous clients all across the globe, really, so many times there is an emotion that, when we're kids and, we have these things happening with our parents, and we tend to, something small can happen, right? Our parents might say no to us around something, and all of a sudden, in that one moment, we make several conclusions. We internalize we make a lot of different conclusions and internalize a lot from that moment. And really all the work is about taking the energy off of that original moment, right? So in this situation, off the original moment when your parent said no to you about something, and then you made the conclusion that you were always going to be rejected in some way, right? And so it's really all about, and Diane had mentioned this, but it's really all about allowing, giving ourselves the space to feel that, right? So you can really tap into that inner child, and you can tap into that little boy or little girl that really needed to have a voice in that moment, and needed to say, maybe in that moment, that what they thought was right, what they thought mattered, and really giving that little child that voice, right? Another piece of too, it's like when you're finding yourself not in that present moment, writing down whatever it is that's coming up for you so that you can really begin to return to the present, right? Because so many times, I, from all the work that I've done, with clients, all the work that I've done on myself, the thing that keeps me in present moment is because I'm no longer that little girl no longer needs to have that voice, right? I've taken the energy off of all the emotions that, years ago would have stopped me from being in the present moment. So I can really, really be in the present moment. I can really, really be connected to myself, right? Another thing that Diane had mentioned on, and I want to give a different perspective on this, but she was talking about, about our energy, right? And really being mindful of our resources. And so that is so, so, so important. What I want to talk about though is, and something that I've been noticing, it's sort of us becoming aware of where our priorities are, right? Where our energy is and where our priorities are. And what I've been noticing for myself is sometimes some of the things that I'm prioritizing over things that are actually more important. I'm choosing things that are like less important over the things that are more important, maybe because they're more fun, or, they mean not having to kind of, do some things that might be a little bit more challenging. And so it's really, really important for us to really notice where we're putting our energy, right? And really what we're wanting to feed. So really, really noticing that. And it's like, okay, if I am wanting, to feed, like if I'm wanting to feed my coaching business, making sure that I'm putting energy into that. If I'm, it's like noticing that versus like, say for instance, if you work with a bunch of coworkers and you're gossiping at the office, it's like, is that what you're really wanting to feed, or are you wanting to feed other areas of your life or feed your free time, right? And so just really, really noticing where you're putting your energy and where your priorities are. And if they aren't aligned with really where you're wanting to go, starting to make shifts in your life so that you can start to become in alignment, right? Because today's show was all about getting in alignment. And so I want to conclude today's show really with doing vibration activation like we always do. For those of you guys who are new to vibration activations, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect you to the light, and I'll walk you through this step by step, but you're just going to see that light coming through your body. And then we'll go ahead and expand that light out 5 feet, 10 feet, all the way out to the entire universe. And then I might say a statement like, everywhere you feel like you're not aligned. And I want you just to see this, exhaling this out of your body, just see it coming out of your body. And maybe you'll breathe in truth, maybe you'll breathe in alignment, and just breathing in a positive alternative. And if the positive alternative I don't give you, it doesn't resonate, you can always choose light, you can always choose love, or you can always choose something else that comes up for you that resonates. So with that, I'm going to have you close your eyes. And if you are driving, do not close your eyes. But for everyone else, just closing your eyes and just taking a nice deep breath. and just connecting to the light that's 300 feet above your head. And we naturally do this when we pray, and just see, sense, or feel that light. And just allowing that light to come down in through your forehead, down past your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, down across your shoulders, down past your torso, down into your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet, and connecting into the center of the earth that feels like mother's love. It's all ooey and gooey and warm and nurturing. And just allowing this liquid light to come back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And again, just this liquid light shower just coming and filling every crevice of your body, just down through your face, down across your shoulders, good, down your torso, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet, and back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And one more time, just down through your face, down across your torso, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet, and back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And just connecting that light and expanding that light from above and below, expand that into the room that you're in, and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just expanding that out into the entire city, and then into the entire continent that you're on, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing. And out past the entire world, just super, super, super big. Just open, expanding, and breathing. Open, expanding, and breathing. And out past the entire universe, just super, 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 super big. Just open, expanding, and breathing. And just everywhere that you're feeling triggered in some way, just exhaling that out and just breathing in your truth. Breathing in the presence, breathing in truth, and breathing in presence. Breathing in truth, breathing in presence, breathing in light. Breathing in truth, breathing in presence, and breathing in light. And just everywhere you're not feeling connected to yourself, just breathing in more of you, just filling yourself up with you, filling yourself up with your energy, just filling yourself up with you, and just filling yourself up with your energy. Just filling yourself up with you and filling yourself up with your energy. And everywhere that you feel not connected to your feelings, just exhaling that out and just breathing in your truth, breathing in your emotions, breathing in that you matter, breathing in worth, breathing in your emotions, breathing in that you matter, and breathing in more, and just filling yourself up with you. And just everywhere you're not feeling aligned in some way, just breathing in that truth, breathing in the alignment, breathing in more of self, just breathing in your truth, breathing in your alignment, breathing in more of self, and breathing in more of you, and breathing in more light, and breathing in more love, and breathing in more of you, and breathing in your truth, and breathing in more truth, more light, and more love. And just taking a nice deep inhale and exhale. And just as a reminder, you can always replay this portion of the program. It's awesome to just keep replaying the vibration activation over and over, because it clears more and more energy, and you keep raising your vibration bigger and bigger and bigger. And with that, I want to thank my guest today, Diane Altomare, for sharing such great information. And I want to thank you all for tuning into Truth Talk. I always love hearing from my audience. So if you have a comment on the show or would like to introduce yourself, you can definitely send me a note on the contact page of my website at deboraacker.com. And there you can also sign up for my complimentary 30-minute discovery session, as well as my free Living in Your Truth guide. And next week on Truth Talk, we're going to have one of my favorite episodes with Ariana Zimmer, among other things, talking about conscious parenting. So in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for listening to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Tune into Truth Talk Radio every Wednesday at 3 Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com and experience the truth of who you are and who you came here to be. Each week, Deb interviews an inspiring guest and illuminates the truth to a wide range of topics, including love, life, purpose, career, consciousness, and abundance. Welcome to the world of infinite possibilities. For more information about Deb, including how to contact or work with her, visit truthtalkradioshow.com. Look forward to seeing you next week for more Truth Talk Radio.